Shadow Secretary of State.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I thank the Secretary of State for advance sight of his statement. He has caused chaos, he has caused confusion, and he has caused a significant cost to the taxpayer. Cancelling local elections only to reinstate them weeks later, and then seek to avoid responsibility for the fallout. And Madam Deputy Speaker, this is not an isolated incident. It is yet another government U-turn. And the unavoidable conclusion is that this Labour government is running scared of voters. The original decision to cancel elections was taken by the Secretary of State. He repeatedly defended that position at the dispatch box. He said in the Times that these elections were pointless. And yet, when his decision fell apart, he recused himself from the process and left a junior minister to pick up the pieces. So my first question is simple. Why was the retaking of this decision delegated? Was the Secretary of State so compromised by his own actions that he could not lawfully retake the decision himself? Will the Secretary of State now place in the House of Commons Library the full correspondence that he would have disclosed had this gone to court? And if not, why not? What new factors were considered that led to a completely different conclusion ultimately being drawn? And there are, of course, also, Madam Deputy Speaker, questions of motive. Is it really a coincidence that the elections first marked for cancellation were overwhelmingly in Labour-run areas? I have been in contact with council leaders who describe being placed under intense pressure, repeatedly asked to restate capacity concerns, warned through multiple channels not to criticise the Secretary of State's decision, and being left with the clear impression that future devolution, future reorganisation, and indeed future funding decisions depended on their compliance. A shocking state of affairs under his leadership. And, Madam Deputy Speaker, I believe that he acted inappropriately. If the Secretary of State is so confident that decisions were taken without political self-interest and without undue pressure being exerted behind the scenes, he should place all correspondence between his department and local authorities in the public domain. And if he does so, I'll be more than happy to withdraw my accusation of inappropriate behaviour. Does the Secretary of State now accept that there are strict limits on the power to delegate or delay elections outside the exceptional circumstances such as war or public emergency? And if so, will he ask his colleagues to accept the amendment tabled by Conservatives in the other place to limit the Secretary of State's power to cancel elections using secondary legislation? And given that Labour MPs voted down the same safeguards at Commons report, the Secretary of State must tell the House what this shambolic episode has cost the taxpayer in legal fees, in wasted preparation, and the emergency expenditure now required to organise these elections at short notice. And there is also a question about election pilots. What is their current status? And why has the government still not published the prospectus or provided it for parliamentary scrutiny? And specifically, how many councils that originally said that they had the capacity to bid to take part in these pilots, who later told his department that they lacked the capacity to hold local elections? And how many of these councils with restored elections are now expected to proceed with these pilots? And ultimately, where does this leave the government's flagship reorganisation process? Elections are the foundation stone of democracy. They are not a convenience to be switched on and off at the whim of the Secretary of State, which is why we, on this side of the House, oppose these cancellations. The Secretary of State's judgment has once again been shown to be fundamentally flawed. And if he cannot or refuses to answer these questions and be open and honest about his behaviour, he should resign.